Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me with your heart right now, because somebody out there is standing in the middle of a storm. You're tired, you're hurting. Life has hit you so hard, you don't even remember what it feels like to dream anymore. But I came to tell you something powerful tonight. Your struggle is not your stopping point. It's your story in the making. This pain, this setback, this season of darkness you're going through, it's not the end, it's the preparation for your greatest breakthrough. You were not born to be broken. You were born to rise, to inspire, to write a story that makes people believe again. Don't you dare let it end here. Don't you give up in the chapter called struggle. You keep turning those pages because the victory is coming. Every person who has ever achieved greatness, who has ever made an impact, who has ever changed the course of their life, started not at the top, but in the pit of struggle. That struggle was not a punishment, it was a preparation. It carved out the strength they didn't know they had. It revealed the character they didn't realize was inside them. It forced them to grow, to evolve, to become something greater than they had ever imagined. You see, when life gets hard, when you're in the trenches, when everything around you is collapsing, and you feel like there's no way out, that's not the end of your story, that's the beginning of your power. Struggle is not something to run from, it's something to embrace, because it is in the struggle that we discover who we truly are. Most people want the success, but not the process. They want the destination, but not the journey. But the struggle is where the magic happens. It's where your resilience is forged. It's where your faith is tested and made real. It's in the struggle that you're shaped into the version of yourself that can handle the dream you're praying for. Without the pressure, there's no diamond. Without the fire, there's no purified gold. And without the struggle, there is no true greatness. You can read every book, attend every seminar, listen to every motivational speaker, but until you've walked through the fire yourself, until you've been pressed and stretched and bent, but not broken, you won't truly understand the depth of your own strength. There are moments when the weight of life feels unbearable, moments when you cry in silence because the world doesn't understand what you're going through, moments when you question your worth, your value, your purpose. But those very moments, those breaking points, are where transformation begins. It's not when things are easy that you grow. It's when you're challenged, when you're uncomfortable, when you're facing adversity. That's when you find your courage. That's when you activate your grit. That's when you start to realize that your struggle is not happening to you, it's happening for you, it's building you, it's preparing you. It's birthing a story inside of you that's meant to impact the world. Too many people let the struggle define them in a negative way. They believe that because they're struggling, they're weak. They think that because life is hard, they must be doing something wrong. But struggle doesn't mean failure. It means you're fighting. It means you're still in the game. It means you haven't given up, even though you've had every reason to. And that right there, that refusal to quit, that decision to keep pushing even when it hurts, that's where the power lies. Because it's in those moments of struggle that you're writing a story of triumph. You're building a legacy of perseverance. You're showing yourself and the world that you are more than your circumstances. When you begin to see your struggle as your training ground, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start declaring, this is preparing me for something greater. You stop feeling sorry for yourself and start feeling fired up about the strength you're gaining. You stop shrinking back and start stepping forward, even if you have to crawl, because you realize that the person you're becoming on the other side of this struggle is someone powerful, someone unshakable, someone who can stand tall and say, I've been through the fire and I'm still standing. That's the power of embracing your struggle. That's the transformation that takes place when you stop resisting and start growing through what you're going through. People often admire strength in others without realizing that strength was forged in pain. The smile you see today was shaped by tears yesterday. The confidence you admire was born in seasons of doubt. The success you praise came out of sleepless nights, failed attempts, and quiet battles no one else saw. That's why your struggle matters. It's shaping you into someone whose story will inspire others. You're not just surviving this moment, you're being sculpted by it. Every hardship, every disappointment, every heartache is carving out something within you that's priceless. It's giving you the kind of strength that can't be faked, the kind of wisdom that can't be taught, and the kind of story that can't be ignored. There's something powerful about turning your pain into purpose. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. It's a conscious decision to look at the most painful chapters of your life and say, "This won't define me in defeat. This will become the reason I rise." We live in a world where too many people try to hide their scars, cover up their wounds, pretend they've never stumbled. But the truth is, your journey, every struggle, every breakdown, every tear, is what gives you the ability to connect with others on a deep soul level. People don't need perfection, they need truth. They need someone who's walked through the fire and made it to the other side. They need your story, raw and unfiltered, because in that story is a blueprint for someone else's survival. Every time you share your journey, your real journey, not the filtered highlight, real version, you give someone else permission to do the same. You remind them that they're not alone in their pain. You show them that healing is possible, that growth is real, that there's hope beyond the hurt. And that's not something small. That's not something insignificant. That's world changing. That's legacy work. You weren't just given your struggle to survive it. You were given your struggle to teach with it, to empower with it, to speak life into someone who's hanging on by a thread. Your pain has a voice, and when you use that voice, it becomes a light in someone else's darkness. We live in a society that often glorifies ease and comfort, but the truth is, our most meaningful impact rarely comes from our victories. It comes from our valleys. Think about the people who have changed your life. Was it their success that moved you, or was it their story, their vulnerability, their resilience, the way they kept going when everything inside them wanted to quit? It's in the moments when you're most broken, most human, most real that your story gains its power. That's where the gold is. That's where lives get touched. That's where healing begins, not just for others, but for you too. Because here's the truth. When you take your pain and turn it into purpose, it changes you. It transforms your identity. You're no longer the victim of what happened. You become the author of what comes next. That shift is where the power lies. It's not about denying what you went through. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about standing in it, owning it, and choosing to rise with it. That's what gives you strength that can't be shaken. That's what makes your voice unstoppable. Because when you've lived through something and you decide to use it to lift others, you become a force of nature. You become unbreakable in spirit. You don't have to wait until everything in your life is perfect to begin sharing your story. You don't have to be fully healed, fully whole, or completely certain of every step. Sometimes the most powerful moments come when you speak from the middle of your journey. When you say, "I'm not there yet, but I'm moving. I'm not finished, but I'm still fighting." That kind of authenticity speaks louder than any polished version ever could. It invites people to walk with you, to believe with you, to grow with you. It breaks down walls. It builds bridges. It changes lives one heart at a time. Turning pain into purpose doesn't mean forgetting what you went through. It means using what you went through as fuel. Fuel to push harder. Fuel to serve deeper. Fuel to live more intentionally. Every person has a story, but not every person tells it. You have a choice. You can let your story die inside you, or you can speak it into the world and give it life. And in doing that, you breathe life into others. You create ripples that you may never see, but will continue long after your voice has stopped speaking. That's the legacy of purpose born from pain. So don't hide from your journey. Don't minimize your struggle. Don't believe the lie that says no one will understand, because someone out there is praying for a sign, and your story might be the answer. Someone is waiting for proof that they can survive what they're going through. You are that proof. You are that voice. You are that living testimony that broken things can still become beautiful. Your struggle wasn't the end of you. It was the awakening of your purpose. There will be times when you feel like giving up, times when the weight of your struggles seems too heavy to carry, times when the people you counted on vanish, the doors you knocked on stay shut, and every step forward feels like a fight against a storm you can't control. But in those moments, you must remember that your ability to keep going, despite the pain, despite the fear, despite the odds, is what sets you apart. The world is full of people who stop when it hurts, who quit when it's uncomfortable, who walk away when the road gets rough. But you are not here to be one of them. You are here to rise, to endure, to fight through the darkness until you find the light again. Because your life doesn't end in the valley unless you decide to set up camp there. Refusing to quit isn't about pretending to be strong all the time. It's about choosing to move even when your legs are shaking. It's about believing in something greater than your current circumstance. It's about having faith, not in the absence of struggle, but in the power of perseverance. Every time you get back up after being knocked down, you're telling the world, "This will not break me." Every time you push forward when your mind says stop, you're building muscle, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and that muscle is what will carry you to places your struggle never wanted you to reach. Quitting is the easy path, but greatness doesn't live on easy roads. It lives on the path where you stumble, bleed, and crawl, but never stop. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're not talented. They don't fail because they're not smart or gifted or deserving. They fail because they give up too soon. They stop when the breakthrough is just one more step away. They let temporary pain convince them of a permanent limit. But you are different. You are built for more, and the fire that's burning inside you, even if it's just a flicker right now, is proof that there is still something worth fighting for. That flicker can become a blaze if you keep feeding it with effort, belief, and action. That's how you turn setbacks into comebacks. That's how you take control of your narrative. There's something powerful that happens when you decide to finish what you started. When you draw a line in the sand and say, no matter what comes, I'm not turning back. That commitment creates clarity. It sharpens your focus. It silences the doubts that try to derail you. People might not understand your journey. They might criticize your pace. They might laugh at your dreams, but they don't get to write your story. You do. And when you keep going, when you press on through the chaos, your persistence becomes your signature. It becomes the proof that you were built for the climb, not just the mountaintop. Every great story has conflict. Every hero faces trials. Every legacy is born from struggle. So why would yours be any different? Your struggle doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you. It gives your journey depth. It gives your victory weight. And that victory is coming, but it requires one thing, that you don't stop, that you don't let discouragement speak louder than your desire, that you don't allow failure to convince you that you're finished. You may be delayed, but you are not denied. You may be weary, but you are not weak. You may be wounded, but you are not done. There is still breath in your body, and as long as that breath is there, you have a chance to turn everything around. What often separates the people who make it from those who don't isn't the amount of pain they've faced, but the amount of fight they've chosen. You can't always control what life throws at you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose persistence over pity, You can choose strength over surrender. You can choose to keep walking even when the road is steep and your feet are sore. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't belong to the smartest, the fastest, or the luckiest. It belongs to the ones who refuse to give up, the ones who understand that failure is not the end unless you let it be. There will always be a reason to quit, but there will also always be a reason to keep going. The question is, which one are you feeding? Which one are you believing? You are stronger than you know. You have survived everything life has thrown at you so far, and you're still here. That means you're undefeated. That means you've got what it takes. That means there's more in you than you've even begun to tap into. So dig deep, stand tall, push forward, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Not because you feel ready, but because you are capable of becoming ready through your actions. You are not your struggle. You are the warrior who walks through it, the soul who refuses to surrender, the voice that rises from silence with purpose. Your story is not over, and your pain is not wasted. Every tear, every fall, every battle you've fought has been preparing you for something greater. You were never meant to give up in the middle of your storm. You were meant to rise from it and show others how to do the same. So own your scars, speak your truth, and keep moving forward with fire in your heart. Because the world needs your story, not the perfect one, but the real one, the raw one, the one that proves broken people can become unbreakable.